We loved our country as much as they. We went courageously into every action. But also we distinguished the false from true. We had suddenly learned to see. It is very queer that the unhappiness of the world is so often brought on by small men. It will try simply to tell of a generation of men who, even though they may have escaped shells, were destroyed by the war. We are little flames poorly sheltered by frail walls against the storm of dissolution and madness, in which we flicker and sometimes almost go out. We are so completely played out that in spite of our great hunger we do not think of the provisions. Then gradually we become something like men again. How senseless is everything that can ever be written, done, or thought, when such things are possible. We always see it too late. Why do they never tell us that you are poor devils like us, that your mothers are just as anxious as ours, and that we have the same fear of death? You're all at once terribly alone, and alone we must see it through. A word of command has made these silent figures our enemies. A word of command might transform them into our friends. They are too grievous for us to be able to reflect on them at once. If we did that, we should have been destroyed long ago. This book is to be neither an accusation nor a confession, and least of all an adventure, for death is not an adventure to those who stand face to face with it. My heart beats fast. This is the aim, the great, the sole aim, that I have thought of in the trenches, that I have looked for as the only possibility of existence after this annihilation of all human feeling. To forget is the secret of eternal youth. One grows old only through memory. There's much too little forgetting. With blinded eyes I stared at the sky, this gray, endless sky of a crazy God, who had made life and death for his amusement. Life is a disease, brother, and death begins already at birth. Every breath, every heartbeat, is a moment of dying a little shove toward the end. Never do anything complicated when something simple will serve as well. It's one of the most important secrets of living. Mirrors are there when we are, and yet they never give us anything back but our own image. Never, never, shall we know what they are when they are alone or what is behind them. Bombardment, barrage, curtain fire, mines, gas tanks, machine guns, hand grenades, words, but they hold the horror of the world. We are not youth any longer. We don't want to take the world by storm. We are fleeing. We flee from ourselves, from our life. We were 18 and had begun to love life and the world, and we had to shoot it to pieces. To me, the front is a mysterious whirlpool. Though I am in still water far away from its center, I feel the whirl of the vortex sucking me slowly, irresistibly, inescapably into itself. Our thoughts are clay. They are molded with the changes of the days. When we are resting, they are good. Under fire, they are dead. Fields of craters within and without. We are forlorn like children and experienced like old men. We are crude, sorrowful, and superficial. I believe we are lost. It was a melancholy secret that reality can arouse desires but never satisfy them. The best way to lose a woman was to show her a kind of life that one could offer her for only a few days. I am young. I am 20 years old, and yet I know nothing of life but despair, death, fear, and fatuous superficiality cast over an abyss of sorrow. I see how people are set against one another, and in silence they unknowingly, foolishly, obediently, and innocently slay one another. We have lost all feeling for one another. We can hardly control ourselves when our glance lights on the form of some other man. We are insensible, dead men who through some trick, some dreadful magic, are still able to run and to kill. Everyone saves someone at least once, just as he kills someone at least once, even though he may not know it. At school, nobody ever taught us how to light a cigarette in a storm of rain, nor how a fire could be made with wet wood, nor that it is best to stick a bayonet in the belly because there it doesn't get jammed as it does in the ribs. Someone once said to me that a cigarette at the right moment is better than all the ideals in the world. We were 18 and had begun to love life and the world, and we had to shoot it to pieces. For us lads of 18, they ought to have been mediators and guides to the world of maturity, the world of work, of duty, of culture, of progress to the future. No soldier outlives 1,000 chances. For a moment I had a strange intuition that just this, and in a real, profound sense, is life. And perhaps happiness, even love with a mixture of sadness, reverence, and silent knowledge.